Before we delve into the intricacies of the Julian calendar, let's first transport ourselves back to the time when the Roman Empire was at its zenith. Imagine a world where the Mediterranean is encircled by a single, powerful entity, the Roman Empire, a civilization marked by grandeur, innovation, and complexity. The political climate was dominated by an intricate structure of governance, with an emperor at the helm surrounded by a maze of senators, consuls, and governors. Society was a complex pyramid of classes from patricians and plebeians to slaves, each with their roles and responsibilities. This was also an era of incredible technological advancements. The Romans were adept engineers and architects, constructing roads, aqueducts, and magnificent structures that still captivate us today. Amidst this backdrop of power, complexity, and innovation, the Julian calendar emerged. This was the era when the Julian calendar was introduced, forever changing the way time was recorded and perceived. Now, imagine a time when the concept of a year was not as we know it today. Picture a world where timekeeping was inconsistent, where the start of the new year was celebrated at different times in different places. This was the reality for the ancient Romans until a significant change was made. Enter the Julian calendar. Established in the Roman Empire on the first day of January, this revolutionary system was the brainchild of none other than Julius Caesar himself. Prior to Caesar's reign, the Roman calendar was a mess, with an average year length of 355 days, and an extra month inserted every couple of years to try to keep things in sync. It wasn't working. The seasons in the calendar were out of alignment, causing confusion and chaos. So, why the change? Julius Caesar, during his rule, realized the need for a more accurate and reliable system of timekeeping. His travels in Egypt, a civilization with a far superior calendar system, inspired him. He consulted with astronomers and mathematicians, leading to the development of a new calendar system, one that was based on the sun, not the moon. The Julian calendar introduced a year length of 365.25 days. This was achieved by having 3 years of 365 days, followed by a leap year of 366 days. This system brought the calendar year into alignment with the solar year. January 1st was established as the start of the new year, a tradition we still follow today. Julius Caesar, with this bold move, brought about a major shift in the way time was perceived and measured. His calendar was not perfect, but it was a significant improvement, bringing about a greater sense of order and consistency. With the Julian calendar, a new era of timekeeping was ushered in, one that would have far-reaching implications, and so, the world was brought one step closer to the system of timekeeping we rely on today. But the story doesn't end there. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the mechanics of the Julian calendar in the next scene. But how exactly did the Julian calendar work? To comprehend the mechanics of the Julian calendar, we need to delve into its structure, the year, the months, and the days. The year in the Julian calendar was made up of 365.25 days, divided among 12 months, a format quite familiar to us today. The year began with January, a month named in honor of the Roman god Janus, the deity of beginnings and transitions. It was followed by February-March, named after Mars, the god of war, and so on, with each month carrying its own significant meaning. Unlike the modern Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar didn't have a uniform distribution of days across the months. Some months had 30 days while others had 31, with the exception of February, which had 28 days in common years and 29 in leap years. Ah, the concept of the leap year. Now this is where things get interesting. The ancient Romans knew that a year was a smidgen more than 365 days. They understood that our planet takes about 365.25 days to orbit the sun. To account for this quarter day, they introduced the concept of a leap year. Every 4 years an extra day was added to the calendar, making it a year of 366 days. This day was inserted into February, extending it to 29 days. This adjustment helped to keep the calendar year synchronized with the solar year. However, this system was not perfect. The addition of a day every 4 years slightly overcorrected the length of the year, leading to a discrepancy that would later be addressed by the introduction of the Gregorian calendar. So, in essence, the Julian calendar was a sophisticated system of tracking time, setting a new standard for future generations. The introduction of the Julian calendar had profound effects, not just on the Roman Empire, but the world over. To grasp the magnitude of its influence, let's first look at agriculture. The Julian calendar, with its solar-based structure, provided a reliable framework for planting and harvesting. Farmers no longer had to rely on haphazard lunar cycles or the whims of nature. The result was a more consistent food supply, contributing to the stability and prosperity of societies. Next, we turn to religion. Many religious practices and holidays were tied to specific dates or seasonal changes. With the Julian calendar's standardized year, these occasions could be celebrated consistently, strengthening communal bonds and religious observance. Even today, many religious holidays like Easter are still determined based on this ancient calendar. On the political front, the Julian calendar played an equally pivotal role. Think about it. Rulers could now effectively plan and execute long-term strategies. This calendar allowed for better administration and coordination across vast empires. It was no longer a game of guesswork. Time became a resource that could be managed and controlled. In daily life, the effects were perhaps most palpable. Imagine the relief of knowing when exactly the cold winter would end or when the hot summer would begin. The Julian calendar gave people a sense of order and predictability. It allowed them to plan their lives, their work, and even their celebrations with a degree of certainty previously unknown. But it's not just about the tangible effects. The Julian calendar symbolized a leap in human thought. It represented a shift from a world governed by unpredictable divine forces to one where humans, using their intellect and observation, could harness the very fabric of time. It was a testament to our capacity to innovate, to structure our world in a way that made life not just livable, but more meaningful. Indeed, the Julian calendar was more than just a timekeeping tool, it was a transformative societal force. Even though centuries have passed since its introduction, the Julian calendar's legacy remains. In the matrix of time, our current Gregorian calendar is a descendant of the Julian calendar, bearing the indelible marks of its ancestor. Though many changes have been made over time, the Julian calendar's influence is felt in the rhythms of our modern lives. The Julian calendar was a leap forward in its time, bringing a new level of accuracy to the reckoning of the year. However, it was not perfect. The Julian calendar overestimated the length of the solar year by 11 minutes and 14 seconds. This discrepancy, while minute on a yearly scale, added up over centuries, leading to a significant shift in the calendar. By the 16th century, the calendar was 10 days out of sync with the solar year. This misalignment had profound implications, especially for the Church, which relied on the calendar to determine important religious dates. To rectify this, Pope Gregory XIII introduced a reform in 1582, giving birth to the Gregorian calendar we use today. The Gregorian calendar modified the Julian system, reducing the number of leap years to keep the calendar year more closely aligned with the solar year. Still, it retained much of the Julian structure, including the 7-day week and the 12-month year. Today, we see remnants of the Julian calendar in many ways. January 1st, established as the start of the new year by Julius Caesar, is still recognized globally. The names of our months, many of which were named after Roman gods, emperors, and numbers, are a constant reminder of our Julian roots. In an era marked by rapid technological advancements, it's intriguing that a system devised over 2,000 years ago continues to govern our days, weeks, and months. The Julian calendar, despite its evolution into the Gregorian calendar, continues to shape our understanding of time. Thus, while we may not use the Julian calendar today, its influence on our modern timekeeping system is undeniable. So, there you have it, the fascinating journey of the Julian calendar. From its inception in the dawn of the Roman Empire, this revolutionary system of timekeeping redefined the concept of a year. It established January 1st as the start of the new year, a tradition we still uphold today. Over the course of this video, we've delved into the mechanics of the Julian calendar, exploring how it managed to bring order to the chaotic Roman calendar system. Its impact on society was profound, influencing everything from agricultural practices to religious observances. The legacy of the Julian calendar continues to resonate in our modern world. While it has been replaced with more accurate systems, its influence remains indisputable. This remarkable system laid the foundation for the calendars we use today, shaping our understanding of time itself. So as we mark each new day and year, let's remember the remarkable system that laid the foundation for the timekeeping we rely on today.